Leaked you're going on Fox? What?
I didn't know this guy really until now. This Hasan Piker.
Okay.
Have you ever just spend 5 minutes?
We're going to talk about it.
My point is this. They all associate with him.
So, Charlie.
Every one of them.
Charlie, you're the best. You just gave me I'm bringing Hasan Piker into the stew here. Let's get to it. If you don't know the name,
Bring him into the
you
studio.
will soon.
Wait, they got scared. He said, bring him into the studio. They left. Never. Dog, bring me into the studio. Let's go toe to toe. Tip to tip. Dicks out. Let's do it. Sexual style. It's fine. Dick and the balls. Let's go, baby. Meat for meat. Band for band. Fox Business, though, nobody watches that. True. Just saying. None of these guys, they want it. They don't want the smoke. They don't want it. They're scared you might yell Allahu Akbar. Yeah, that's what they're scared of. Are you going on Piers? He talking shit? Dude, Piers has wanted me on. I'm his white whale, dude. He's been wanting me on for so goddamn long. It's funny. It's just like, I just don't want to do it. I don't want to do it. I want the big, no disrespect to Piers. Like, there are times when I think it's valuable. Probably should do it. It's kind of like Jubilee, dude. That's why I'm like, ugh, do I really want to do this? Turns into a screaming show, you know? Set the condition that Patrick Bet-David must be on the show. True. I'll do it if he lets me kiss Patrick Bet-David. Trump is not scared at all. Don't say he's scared. Trump's so paranoid over the world's hatred of him. He was golfing in Bedminster with a surface-to-air missile system escort. Obviously, he's very close to a deal. It's very clear. It's very clear from this. It's very clear from the Italian job, Ocean's 11 style escape plan that Trump hatched, getting out of the plane that he was supposed to fly back from Turkey on. I think all of that shows that, yeah, American leadership is genuinely terrified of like some kind of serious Iranian assassination. I just don't think it's legitimate. I don't think it's a legitimate fear, but they seem to think so. And I find that very funny because none of this had to happen. None of this had to happen. None of this is a real concern if Trump doesn't follow on Benjamin Netanyahu's ambitions and attacks Iran. So yeah, we'll talk about the Trump administration, Trump's escape plan, the funny Hollywood movie style escape that he had where he, you know, basically had a Air Force One full of journalists that he used as bait. I think it's a hilarious story. We'll talk about that. And there's, of course, a lot of other things to get to. But the first story of the day, what the hell are liberal consultants doing? Former Biden special assistant Michael LaRosa is speculating QAnon style that Pod Save America has deleted a tweet or deleted a video, and then they reposted the video, and they are mad. They're very mad. There's some liberal consultants on Twitter that are very mad, and now Fox News has turned this into a story. How can people not understand what's going on here? Like, it's very clear that they're trying to turn anything and everything into like the left is in a state of disarray. The liberals are panicking. They're fighting. This is QAnon. This is QAnon. This is Hasan derangement syndrome. This is exactly what like my haters have speculated about Ludwig, right? Like they're doing the things that weird Gamergate style losers did to Ludwig, but now they're doing it to Pod Save America, and it's actually adults doing it. I'm shocked that the manifestation of Hasan derangement syndrome, regardless of demographics, regardless of age, regardless of level of educational attainment, always manifests in the same exact derangement. The idea that I'm somehow this all-powerful media being, Hasan controls the media, that I like made a boss call and I was like, this clip does not look favorable for me at all, like delete it. And then Pod Save America was like, oh no, like we have to do it. We have to do it. We are at your mercy, sir. You're the most powerful puppet master. You're pulling the strings. Like that's what happened. I called Obama my bestie. I said, Obama, give a boss call. Give a boss call to the bosses over at the Pod Johns and fix it. And Obama said, and you know what Obama said? Obama said, and too. Yeah, that's right. He's here right now. He's here in the room, far away from your eyes. He's here. Anyway, so very strange. Don't understand why people want to live this way. Probably not healthy for them to lean into this level of insanity, unfortunately. Pictures of the conversation with Pod Save leaked. Yep, there it is. That's me. This is how I went into the studio. I was like, how dare you? How dare you besmirch the good reputation of Hank Piker? And they were like, we're so sorry. So yeah, this is on your subreddit, lol, what? Oh yeah, this is the other side. This is, yeah, the Hasan derangement syndrome is manifesting in very strange ways on the right. I can't even make a distinction between the right and the far right at this point, but like there are sincere elements in the far right, also known as the right, who think that I am single-handedly tasked with destroying the white race. This is a sincere thing that we're doing. And how are we doing it? Through the act of miscegenation, consensual intercourse, race mixing, if you will. Very strange phenomena. Very strange phenomena that's taking place right now. I guess being cucked is a primary motivation for a lot of these folks on the right. So that's like, it's probably the reason why they get so animated towards this kind of thing, where they're just like, how dare you cuck us? How dare you cuck us? I'm going to invent a reality where, you know, my girlfriend, my hypothetical girlfriend, is in love with you. Yeah. On the liberal side, Neera Tanden has found herself reposting the likes of Laura Loomer. On the Republican side, Elon Musk is losing his mind over a hypothetical cuckening, where I guess their advocacy now revolves around ending the act of miscegenation. Everyone has lost their dang minds, folks.
He's a socialist streamer who may be one of the most influential voices on the Democratic far left. Is no longer on the fringe. He's going mainstream with a glowing profile in Rolling Stone magazine. In it, he defends 1,000 times better than Israel, calling the comment intentionally provocative. He's been outspoken in his admiration for communist China, so much so that even his own mom described his love of China as outlandish. Lydia, I'm coming your way on this. Charlie brought it up. Hasan Piker, the key is he's not on the fringe. Like, he matters. The Senate candidate in Michigan, El Sayed, campaigned with Piker. He saw him as a way to win the race. What do you make of that?
I think it's real trouble. I think the platform that Hasan Piker has built and the following that he has is a real problem for America, not for the Democrat Party, not for Republicans, but for America at large. You know it's a problem when your own mother is distancing herself from you and your ideas over his love.
You have to be a real diehard schizo, Hasanabi derangement syndrome head, to think that my mother is distancing herself from me. Like, what are you saying? Do you fucking hear yourself? Do you hear the words that are coming out of your mouth? Does your brain comprehend the things that you're saying? My mom? What a delusional thing to say. Like, my mom lives with me, dude. What the fuck? What the hell, dude? They've gone insane. They've gone stir crazy.
And affection and admiration for the Communist Party of China. I think a great question for Hasan Piker is, whatever happened to the man in 1989 that stood in Tiananmen Square before the tank? Before, we don't know what happened to him. He was disappeared for standing up against oppression and for rights and liberties of the Chinese people that were being taken away right before the world's eyes. No one knows what happened to that man. No one can confidently tell you whether he was executed or imprisoned, because China just disappears people. And Hasan Piker is out here telling us that China is that's what my my advocacy is. I want the Chinese state's methods of repression, and not the fucking high-speed rail, the command economy, like rapid industrialization, rapid urbanization, the development. That's not my advocacy. My advocacy is, let's do Chinese level of state repression, which we're doing right now under Donald Trump, by the way. That is what you guys are defending. That is what I oppose. When I say there's a lot of lessons we can learn from China and Chinese development, I'm not saying take whatever fantastical version of events that you perceive as taking place in China on a daily basis and then apply it here and do it here, which is currently fucking happening. It's happening. It's currently happening. Okay?
in broad daylight. It's happening right now. It's happening in the United States of America with ICE. Trump is doing it. Trump is doing the damn thing right now, and you're defending it.
Roadmap, a way of the future. People got to hold him to account and ask him some tough questions like that. The other problem I would say is that he has got young people enchanted. There was a local article from Michigan State when he appeared alongside the Senate candidate in Michigan a couple of months ago. And most of the students at Michigan State said they came not to hear from the candidates. They wanted to hear from Hasan Piker himself. He's got reach, he's got influence, and I think it's really troubling.
He's a celebrity.
But he's
and
not
they like the celebrities.
Could we just get off the
Yeah, that's true.
That either Piker or Hung or however you pronounce her name, or the Rolling Stone for that matter, is mainstream. It's not. These are not mainstream. Charlie mentioned the Democrats as the other party. No, there's a bigger party. There's a bigger party than the Republicans and the Democrats. That's the independents.
Yeah, I know.
The independents are 40% of the voters in this country. 58% of all adult Americans own stock of some kind. 60% of American households.
Yeah, you think 50% of Americans see themselves as capital owners? Like, that's awesome. Like, yeah. Guys with 401ks are like, dude, I'm really rolling in it right now. Yeah, that's right. I'm Mr. Finance guy who's got like a crumb of a nest egg because there's no pension programs anymore. Is just like, God, I love doing finance and business, you see? Yeah, no, that's what it is. Thank you. This is great. That's how it works. Meanwhile, 90% of the stock market is owned by the top 10% of wealth. 90% of the stock market is owned by the top 10% of wealth. The bottom 50% of stock ownership, the bottom 50% of wealth in the country owns 1% of the stock market. The bottom 50% of wealth in this country own 1% of the stock market. Do you understand how insane it is to be like, yeah, these guys are rolling in it, dude. That's why they're caked. These guys are all titans of industry. 50% of the American society is basically oil barons, you know?
About the same amount live in owner-occupied buildings. They're talking about getting rid of all private property, as good Marxists do. They talk about decommodifying housing, which is getting rid of private property. They talk about getting rid of a corporate America. If you were an enemy of the United States, say the CCP, for example, just for example, the CCP, how would you undermine the United States of America if you wanted to destroy the U.S.?
This is very scary.
You'd do exactly.
You would lean into the Republicans. That's it. There's no other. Dude. The Republican Party is the greatest enemy of mankind, the greatest enemy of America. That's why I always joke and say, look, if you think I hate America, I would just be a Republican. Like, I would literally constantly ride for the Republican Party. There is no greater threat to American democracy, American existence than the modern Republican Party. Fox News is one of the tools of destroying this country. And they do it so successfully all the time. They do it while taking ownership over being American and what it means to be American and what it means to love America. It's crazy. There is no better, no easier way to destroy this country than to be a Republican. Whether it be the divisive rhetoric coming from the Republican Party all the fucking time, constantly trying to divide us, constantly trying to engage and foment sectarian conflict, ethnic conflict in a country that is, very diverse, one of the most diverse countries on the planet. That is what being an American is all about, right? Growing up in this diverse environment. It literally, the most effective tool to divide the American working class, to divide America, is to be a Republican. To be terrified of your neighbors, to constantly tell others to be terrified of their neighbors, to constantly tell others to oppose values that hold us together, the connective tissue that holds society together. We oppose that. That's what Republicans do. That's what Republicans say and do all the time, every day. Culture war over, class war.
Exactly what the DSA says you should do. You would eliminate private property. You would get rid of corporate.
You're the greatest threat to our democracy. You're brainwashing people. You're spreading propaganda about letting people doing horrendous things to our population. Brother, I think you are having a hard time hearing me out. I am not a Republican. Okay? You are currently watching on the screen, not me, but on the screen, exactly that. Brainwashing the population, brainwashing the olds specifically, and justifying horrendous things. I gave you an example. The lady initially started the conversation by saying Hasan Piker loves the CCP. Hasan Piker wants to do Tank Man. Hasan Piker wants to do state repression. You're Fox News. You are literally currently justifying state repression every other hour. When you're not talking about me, you're talking about state repression. Spencer Cook Fetterman.
Discuss.
Oh, yeah, I've seen this already. This was very funny. Ow, what the fuck? Why do I have... Ow, I have an eye ache all of a sudden.
Corporate America, and you would get rid of our Defense Department. All of those points are in the DSA national platform. This is not mainstream America at all.
But they're taking over a party,
There's an election
David.
coming up. What we have been dealing with are primaries. Let me finish. There's an election coming up which is going to involve that great middle, and I'm talking about the independent voters, the 40% of American voters.
Dude, they got... Oh my God, it's so funny. We got the Fox News boys talking like centrist Democrats, dude. Oh, the great moderate forces in this country are going to finally realize, the Baileys, they're going to finally realize that Trump is actually far more reasonable. That's beautiful. That is beautiful. Do you understand? I love hearing that. I love hearing my enemies repeat the mistakes of the people that I have to reluctantly support. Okay? That's awesome. Oh, the great middle, the great moderates, they are going to come out in droves and they're going to say, no, better things are not possible. I do not foresee any circumstance. First of all, I oppose the framing of this like great moderate, the median voter that is united on like moderate ideology or whatever. I don't think that's real anyway. It's not real when the Democrats say it. It's not real when the Republicans are now trying that same exact horrendous propaganda, is unsuccessful propaganda. But let's entertain the argument. Let's say that there's a moderate middle there. Why the fuck would they consider Trump to be moderate? Why would people that are demanding moderation look at the current predicament in front of them and go, you know what's the moderate option here? Not the people that are demanding free health care, not the people who are saying America's the wealthiest nation on earth. We should take care of our own citizens. We should stop giving money to endless wars overseas. We should spend that money here on ourselves. Not that side, but the side that is actually Donald Trump, led by Donald Trump, the cult of MAGA. That's the moderate side. That is not a moderate position for anybody. You would literally have to make the Democratic Party Maoist third worldist for there to be a real comparison between what the fuck Trump is doing and what the Democratic Party represents. Okay? In the eyes of like the average American, everything that you're saying about me had to be true, and that I would have to be the front runner for the Democrats or something. And only then would Americans be like, yeah, I guess like this is a little crazy for me. This is a little too rich for my blood, you know? Because that's how fucking radical the Republicans have gotten over the last decade.
The more they are exposed to this kind of communist radical stuff that is exactly the opposite of what they've spent their whole lives living, what they've spent their whole lives investing in. Every middle-class American family that represents these people I'm talking right now has either a direct family member or some family member who's been in the military, who has seen members of their family shed blood for the American flag that these people want to wipe their dirty hands on. That
God damn, they get so animated. There's nothing that gets these guys tweaking. Holy shit.
That is not
Well,
going
we
to
know
fly
they're
with
bad.
middle
Wait a second. We
America.
know they're bad.
corrupting
You're
young people.
dismissing them at the threat.
I'm not dismissing
This is
anybody.
horrible.
I'm
This
ready
is
to take them
mainstream.
on.
This is
Unlike the
mainstream.
Democrat,
Okay, yeah,
unlike the
but this is-
Democrats and the
but when you
Republicans,
say this
by the
isn't
way, in the Senate.
mainstream,
And it pisses
it is
me off
infecting
that
a
the
mainstream
Republicans,
party.
as well as the
Right,
Democrats, are afraid
And
of these
let me
people.
make one more point. You think there's that much difference between Hasan Piker, his policy standpoints, and much of the stuff that Kamala Harris said? Think.
Yo, dude. Yes, King. You caught on to our plan. Yeah, Commie Kamala, dude. Kamala Harris. That's awesome. Now I'm offended. Someone said, damn, ultras on Fox. Yeah, no, this is actually an ultra. What you guys failed to recognize is this is not a Republican. Okay. Perhaps an Irish Republican. This is an ultra who's saying, like, what's the difference? They're both elements of the same bourgeois electoralist predicament that dampens revolutionary potential of the masses. Like, what are you talking about? None of these are committed Marxist-Leninists. It's clear to me that they are just working hand in glove to defend the liberal Zionist pedophilic Democratic Party. Yeah. Finally, Fox News got brought on an ultra, a real Maoist third worldist who's saying, like, sorry
about it.
She's not saying it the way that he said it.
But
and
she's
that's the thing.
endorsing, you go down the line, much of the same stuff. Same with Joe Biden. My point is the Democratic Party.
Joe Biden, Kamala Harris, Hasan Piker, they're all the same.
Scary has been hijacked by lunatics. By the way, you presented a very sanitized portion of Hasan Piker's stuff. Yeah. There's stuff that we cannot say on this air. It's so disgusting, so vile.
Yeah, like Medicare for all. Heinous things that have come out of this man's mouth, okay? Terrifying, heinous. We can't even fucking repeat it, dude.
About killing and
October
rape
7th.
and but the other stuff.
Killing
about
and rape?
letting
What are
all
you
the
talking about? Jesus Christ.
immigrants in and let them do X, Y, and Z to change the color.
Oh, there he's talking about the great replacement. Oh, that's awesome. Oh, God. Republicans, man, they will never stop. They will never stop inventing a reality, an alternative reality to be mad at and be terrified by, and then just sincerely being scared of their imagination.
Yeah. I mean, this is like, this guy is sick. And the Democratic candidate for Senate in Michigan campaigned with him. Yeah. So does everybody else. Bernie Sanders is distanced himself. Hillary Clinton barely said something about him. They won't mention his name.
I really want to make a point, David. I agree with you, but I also think that what Piker and people like this are doing is corrupting the youth. So sadly, when the generation that you're talking about moves on in life and passes, you're going to have young people, the same young people who voted Zohran Mamdani in here, and think that
New York, though, that was not mainstream America.
But if you corrupt young people, and we talk about the education system all of the time, I'm not saying it's going to happen tomorrow.
I agree. Education system is horrible.
Slippery slope for the future. And Ryan, I know we have to go, but I want to make this point. I saw a powerful social media post that I want to share with you. It was a picture of a woman named Brooke Jackman, 23 years old, died in the towers on 9/11. The audio accompanying the post was her calling her mother, crying, saying goodbye, explaining the situation that she was in. Next month is the 25th anniversary of 9/11. We are living in a city where I never thought that a mayor that would not condemn the phrase globalize the Intifada, which stands with terrorism, essentially, is saying that he wants to go down and stand at 9/11, and a lot of people have a very big problem with that,
right?
And for very good reason. If Brooke Jackman was alive, she would be 48 years old today. She was a beautiful girl. She was only a couple of years older than me, and it brings you back to that moment where you remember where you were and what happened in this city. And at that time, David, I never thought I would see this, and here we are.
So it happens incrementally, and that's why we can't totally dismiss this. Now, yes, the country, if you went down the line or everything Piker stands for, the country or El Said, which we're going to find out a lot more, probably be like, nah. But if you look at the Democratic platform, which almost beat Trump.
Yep. Well, look, this is why we talk about what's happening in Wisconsin. It matters. You have the vote because people have a choice. And
the general in November is going to be key. If they lose big time, then the Democrats have got to totally recalibrate. If they don't, then maybe I'm with you in thinking that this is more of a threat. Right now, I'm betting on the American middle, which is huge still and is totally invested in exactly what these people are against.
All right, place your bets.
Awesome. You missed more racist lob? Well, did I really? Yes, you haven't heard that one 100%. Will Kane is calling you a champagne socialist right now. Remember, I told you that was going to be the next line. House and Abi. They're running the hits. It's so funny because, I've experienced this stuff. I've experienced this stuff my entire career, right? So it's really funny that they're just going through the same motion, the same process. and the same fucking propaganda.
Contribute to what he considers to be a good idea, what he considers will make the world a better place. That you have the freedom to go live as a socialist. Go do it, Hasan. What's stopping you?
Okay, so here's why this is ridiculous. And the last point I will make is this. Here's why that conversation is absolutely preposterous. If I gave away the measly earnings that I had and gave away 95% of
How much do you make,
that
Hasan?
wouldn't necessarily even push the needle.
And there's
Wait, why'd they cut it? I'd say I make 65 grand a year because that back then I made 65 grand a year. No,
the scam.
Republicans are doing the
same
thing where they
scam
act
run
like
for
time
more than a
doesn't
century
continue.
And in more than one experiment. From the USSR to Cuba, the czars never stood in the breadlines like the proletariat. No, in the New World Order, the Turkish immigrant Maoist won't have his caviar seized. He's got a different target, the white middle class.
Mandami's aide, his top aide, Sia Weaver, said if you don't believe in the government's sacred right to seize property, it's over, and impoverish the white middle class.
Beast mode. I love her so much. One of the things about Zoran is that the people surrounding him oftentimes are so much cooler than he is. But that's also part of the reason why I really respect what he's doing.
Beast mode. To be clear, he's praising the opinion of a top aide to the mayor of New York City. So this isn't just about a streamer coming up in the world who has much greater ambitions than when he first came to the United States. He told Cosmopolitan back in 2018, growing up horny in a repressed culture, Piker fantasized about moving to the United States, saying, there's a saying in Turkey that when you go to America, the girls ask to F. He says his parents let him go to the University of Miami, and within a few weeks of his arrival, he was approached to promote a nightclub around South Beach. On the job, he met the first woman he had sex with.
I cannot believe they're hitting the New York Post lines.
We'd all be better off if Piker stayed content running his way through South Beach. But the image of the man whore had to be run through Pravda in order to keep up with his newfound fame. So now we get this from Rolling Stone. When people would ask, what do you want to be? I'd always say, I want to go to college in America. It's actually the most common attitude around the planet. People love the culture and the promise of America, but they effing hate the government. Unfortunately, academia isn't returning the same love for Piker. Something Fox Digital's David Marcus has pointed out. After the University of Washington axed him from its upcoming lecture series, it's
Will
not
Kane,
the
have me on the
conservatives
broadcast
that are canceling Piker. The left is giving him a taste of his own medicine. And somehow, again, this picture says it all. The joke of this current movement and its messenger. But, as Jerry Baker at the Wall Street Journal points out, the message, the issue that they're capitalizing on is no joke. He writes, inequality is a feature of capitalism and a sign of its health. But it's also empirically obvious that the wider the inequality, the more social solidarity diminishes.
Level 3
Socialism
hype
has
train,
never been the
folks.
answer, and it isn't now.
Subscribe
Capitalism doesn't
to the
need
Piker Broadcasting
replacing.
Service. Independent
It needs
media.
reaffirming.
Support independent media.
Fox News digital columnist David Marcus and the host of the Mark Davis Show, Mark Davis, join us now. David, do you think that Piker should have been canceled from the University of Washington?
No. No conservative thinks that that is what should have happened. TPUSA immediately came out and defended his right to speak for two reasons. One, conservatives always defend everyone's right to speak. But two, Will, right now, Hasan Piker is to Republicans what cowbell is to Christopher Walken. I mean, they just want more. They need more. They have a fever, and the only cure is Hasan Piker. And Democrats are starting to understand why. They learned this lesson in Michigan, right? Piker was basically El Sayed's running mate the last 2 weeks of that campaign. I was there, and at first it was great. They were like, oh my goodness, we're up 15 points in the polls. We got to get this guy everywhere. Then Election Day happened, and he barely won. If that happens again tonight in Wisconsin, and I suspect it will, if Hong badly underperforms after putting her arm around this guy, tomorrow morning is going to be a 5-alarm fire for Democrats saying, how do we shut this guy up? And good luck, because I don't know how you shut him up.
No, it was.
Mark,
Yeah, that's why the race was much closer because people were like, "This is Hasan Piker guy. We hate him."
People that they're advocating.
Like these folks have been saying about,
So how do you deal with the inequality that comes along with capitalism?
Yeah, I'm not as worried about that.
Oh, redistributive
Baker
policies? Is that what they're advocating for on Fox News now?
I'm not sure why he's so worried about it, but this has been around for a long time. Occupy Wall Street was 15 years ago, right? And we're still not socialist. I think this new message from the Democrats of it's not left, it's not right, it's top versus bottom, I think it's a disaster. Americans don't think of themselves as being at the bottom, right? At least Occupy Wall Street was saying the 1% versus the 99%. Americans don't think they're at the bottom looking up at rich people. So I don't suspect that this is going to have a lot of purchase. Are gas prices a problem? Sure. Has there ever been a point where the American people said prices are too low? No. So I think this is a little overblown, and we don't need to pay lip service to this.
And yet, electorally, Mark, it's a smarter move than where they were 5 years ago. Instead of painting everything as black versus white, they're now in the process of painting this as top versus bottom.
And I think Dave's right. I mean, the people don't look at themselves as being at the bottom, but they have shown a tendency of late to think of themselves as disadvantaged, think of themselves as entitled. Things are expensive. They were expensive during Biden, too, but we didn't have an entire massive amen chorus in the media culture reminding everybody of how expensive everything is. And now we do. Yes. And so it's an opportunity to
wait, what? Yes, they
Republicans for it, and an opportunity that they'll try to take. It will also fail for Democrats to come in and say,
I'm going to
make things more affordable.
At Fox News, right? If he was, doing commentary at the time, he was definitely doing that. Like, what?
Okay. Talked about a business crushing higher minimum wage, having everybody pay other people's medical debt, and other objectively disastrous things. Democrats do not have the policies to make things more affordable.
All right. Mark, David, thank you both for being with us here today.
Thanks.
All right, let's check in on the markets. All three major indexes today have closed in the red. Coming up, abortion up until birth.
Awesome segue. Oh, it's kind of funny because like they have invented so many alternative realities and so many alternative narratives. Like I don't even like sometimes we look at the modern conservative movement and we're like, there's no consensus reality. Like, how do we get here? And it's like, well, because for years and years, conservatives have only been able to invent alternative narratives in hypothetical situations to get mad at and get scared by in an effort not to address the ongoing issues, right? And Democrats, for the large part, have not actually tried to move the conversation back to reality and talk about the actual, economic crises that were taking place, that were harming Americans in general, and have kind of followed them down this weird rabbit hole where they constantly talk about whatever dumb shit Republicans want to talk about and only bring people back to reality on those issues, right? Like Republicans will invent something like a war on Christmas, and then Democrats will say, no, there is no war on Christmas. When in fact, Democrats should have been saying, yeah, the only real war on Christmas is the Republicans ruining the economy, right? Like, and now we've kind of forced the Democrats a little bit to take a issue first stance, to take a economic, to take a stance that revolves around policy, to take a issue first campaign that revolves around, Medicare for all and how we're going to help the American working class. So now the Democrats are snapping into that, and all of this stuff that the Republicans are doing, where they talk about the dangers of socialism, dangers of communism, whenever they like accidentally reveal the issues that Democrats are running on, but more so like Democratic socialists are running on, they end up doing promotion for the national party. I like that the Will Cain story was literally Hasan Piker fucks. Yeah, back in the day, I no longer. I'm an incel. I'm a volcel, whatever you want to call it. But it's crazy that was the main line of attack from Will Cain. They've run out of shit. So they're going back to the basics, back to the huge, back to the best they got. I'm a chud-ass loser, folks, unfortunately. He said, I'm a man whore. I'm the first male to be slut-shamed. I am the first male victim of the kinds of objectification that women receive. I don't know how we arrived at this. Not like, men broadly are also victim to the patriarchy. That's not what I'm talking about. But like male objectification is not the same thing. Usually men are not perceived as like objects of sexual desire due to patriarchal constructs. And it feels so strange. They're treating me like a woman. I'm getting the woman treatment. And it's working. Yeah, apparently Fox News is also claiming that I won the Senate in Michigan. I'm on the ballot apparently, and that's Joe Manchin saying that, former West Virginia Senator, Democrat Joe Manchin, one of the worst Democrats out there.
They're afraid to speak up.
Senator, it seems like the voters are talking, though, and they're making themselves heard. In Michigan, Hasan Piker won that election. This is a swing state. We've got another swing state here where, not the primary, I should say, where Francesca Hong looks like she's going to win this primary. So it seems like if Democrats are where you're saying they should be able to win in these places.
But they're afraid to speak up.
Yeah, congrats on the win. Thanks, guys. Thanks. It's not a big deal. I mean, I couldn't have done it without all of you. We did it. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, what do you say? What do you say to this? Emily writes, I've been taking my time to really process the entire song about media recycle, and the more I watch it unfold, the more depressing it gets. Yes, the song says stupid shit sometimes. I disagree with him sometimes. None of that changes how fucking disturbing it is to watch the media take the most inflammatory clip they can find, remove everything that came before it and after it, and assign the worst possible interpretation of what he meant, slap a headline on it, repeat it across multiple outlets, and eventually turn that manufactured version into accepted reality. Once the narrative takes hold, context barely fucking matters anymore. Providing it immediately gets dismissed as defending Hasan. Damn, that was fast. Hell yeah. Which of course conveniently avoids having to question whether the original framing was accurate in the first place. And I think that's what I've been processing most through all of this. We have this incredibly simplistic idea of propaganda as blatant lies or government messaging when so much of it happens through framing, omission, repetition, selective outrage, and deciding which pieces of information the public gets to see. Watching this whole media circus unfold has genuinely changed the way I consume political coverage, which is a pretty fucking depressing thing to admit as a former journalist. I was trained to understand the importance of context, sourcing, framing, and the responsibility that comes with shaping how people understand the world around them. And listen, I knew media bias and propaganda existed. Of course I did. I just don't think I fully appreciated how effective the machinery is until I started consciously watching it happen. Once you see it, you start seeing the same shit everywhere. Yeah, I think a big part of the punishment is because of my prominent critiques of Israel. And that's why there's almost this like universality to the barrage of propaganda coming, not just from Fox News, because Fox News has always shifted reality, right? Fox News has always tried to shift reality and seen much success in shifting reality as people understand it. The problem is Fox News also is the main editor for the news cycle. And we can't let that happen, right? And in the past, at least, like liberal media would push back against certain things that Fox News was saying. They would try to do fact checking and things of that nature. They don't do that anymore. And especially on this issue, they don't do that either. So as long as they can maintain some kind of allegiance on this issue and this issue alone to like punish a prominent critic of Israel this way, then they're going to do it. It's a multi-front, multi-pronged approach. And it's sad to see that liberal media basically gives so much air to the barrage of insane Republican points of manufactured outrage. Fox News is the Republican fake news channel. That's it. Yeah, but the issue is that like CNN shouldn't be leaning into this shit, but CNN is also now bought out. CBS is also now bought out. So we broadly are losing like any kind of serious media, any kind of serious, like somewhat impartial liberal media that would play an important function. We can't expect all the 65 plus year olds to come back and seek out independent media, right? I mean, some of them do, some of them watch like Media Matters, and that's great, but there is a reason. There's a reason why the Ellison corporate takeover was so devastating. This is part of that reason, because it's not just that the reactionary forces own Fox News. Rupert Murdoch owns Fox News, Wall Street Journal, New York Post, California Post. Like there's already a tremendous amount of reactionary media out there in virtually every medium. But now the Ellisons are purchasing CBS, the Ellisons are purchasing CNN. The rest of the media outlets that are supposed to be liberal or somewhat impartial, that care about doing like at least decent journalism every now and then, they see these shifts that are taking place and they're also fearful. That makes journalists and editors and editorial teams think twice before they broadcast an oppositional framing on whatever the Republicans are channeling, whatever the Republicans want to manufacture. Whether they want to manufacture consent or outrage doesn't matter. And it's not just about me, of course. It's about all these issues, right? I mean, every moment that MSNBC or CNN channels the Republican outrage and takes it on as though it's sincere, as though it's a shared resentment that they also understand. When they hand it to the Republicans like this, they're not actually talking about the issues that matter. There's only a finite amount of time that we have on God's green earth. There's only a finite amount of time that you have throughout the day. There's only a couple hours in prime time. And if the prime time slot is occupied by whatever the fuck the Republicans want you to freak out about, it's not being occupied by the real issues that matter. The cost of living crisis, Donald Trump's corruption, Donald Trump's insanity, his violence, the violence of ICE, his failure to follow through on the promises that he made to his own audience, his own base of support. That's the problem, okay? That is the issue. That's the real problem. It's just totally busted. But once again, the opportunity that we have is to, be steadfast in our advocacy, talk about the issues that matter, recenter the conversation on data centers, recenter the conversation on Israel, recenter the conversation on Medicare for all, recenter it around universal child care, federal jobs guarantee, things that we care about, things that we know are going to be broadly helpful to as many Americans as possible. We will come out on top if we continue pushing through, okay? That's it. And of course, you have a job, a responsibility if you choose to take it on, but you can talk to your family, you can talk to your neighbors, you can show them how ridiculous this stuff is and be like, look, they talked about transgender people, they talked about the war on Christmas, they talked about all this other stuff, they talked about how dangerous immigrants were. Okay, they banned the transgender athletes. Did your life get better? They started, they started, packing up and kidnapping our neighbors, saying that they were undocumented migrants that were doing get better. It got worse. Now they're doing the same thing with Hasan Piker. Now they're doing the same thing with DSA, saying socialism is this terrifying prospect. I say we're out of options and we should choose that alternative. We should seek out an alternative solution because at the end of the day, these people want to defend the status quo and the status quo has not defended you. They're making an enemy out of those who recognize the dangers of abiding by the status quo. You can have these sorts of conversations. You have a unique opportunity. Just as though I've told you, you have a unique opportunity to change the dynamic of races when you talk to your family, when you talk to your neighbors about Abdul al-Sayed, about Francesca Hong, when they get inundated with a barrage of negative media coverage. You have the opportunity to turn that negative media coverage into name recognition and an opportunity to tell them what the actual policies are and also explain to them why that negative media coverage is coming out. You can do that. You can do that in defense of DSA, in defense of myself as well. We've truly hit the scratch liberal moment with shit like this. Yeah, update. Neera Tanden has added Laura Loomer to her cadre of fascist rapists and scumbags she elevates in her obsession with Hasan. At what point does the board of directors at Center for American Progress rein in their deranged president and CEO, or does CAP support her incautious antics? Yeah. Rape Tone, Nicholas Fuentes, Sex Pestiny, and now Laura goddamn Loomer, dude. And Fetterman? Okay, we watched this already. I've been trying to get my parents to see that they're not actually getting diverse perspectives from MS now, but it's an uphill battle. I mean, you just got to be steadfast. And eventually there will come an issue where they see eye to eye there will come an issue eventually where they recognize your anger, right? And that's the moment where you can, drive a wedge between their commentary and the coverage that they've experienced thus far and maybe feed a little bit of diversity into their media diet. It's an inevitability because these guys drop the ball in spectacular fashion all the time. This is one of those instances, right? Israel-Palestine is one of those instances where many of your parents even began to recognize the severity of the crisis and they weren't getting the necessary media coverage. It was insufficient. And they started seeking out alternatives like Zeteo, like Dropsite, Democracy Now!, Al Jazeera. They came here. They went to Majority Report. So yeah, I think that there's always an opportunity. There's always an opportunity to diversify your parents' media diets. And I say your parents because, of course, like they are the ones who are most likely to be consuming mainstream news. They're the ones who are most likely to be getting their notes from MS Now, from CNN, from CBS, not realizing that they're being force-fed propaganda that unfortunately is very much in line with Fox News. So that's the other thing. Like, we should probably do a clip compilation of like what CNN panelists are saying, what MS Now panelists are saying, and what Fox News is saying, and showcase the similarities between the two. Showcase the similarities on this issue. This is like they're single-minded on this issue. You can do that for Israel. You can probably do that for data centers. You can do that for the Democratic Socialists of America, and you could do that for me. That's probably a really good way to just get them to understand, like, why are they saying the same shit that Fox News is saying? Doesn't that strike you as odd? That's the bottom line for Michigan voters. Abdulrahman Mohammed El Sayed is Hasan Piker, and Hasan Piker is Abdulrahman Mohammed El Sayed, says Hugh Hewitt.